Hey everybody, welcome back to Space Engineers, episode 5 of Quest for Peas. Before we get started, I just want to take a moment to thank everyone once again for your ongoing support. It really does mean a lot to me. Also, a little reminder that if you are enjoying my videos, let me know by either hitting the old like button below or maybe leaving a comment. And if you're not subscribed but like what I do, maybe consider subscribing. Finally, if you want to help support my work, maybe become a channel member. You can hit the join button below or click on the link in the video's description. Members will get to watch this series 5 days early, and each member will have their names posted at the end of every video I produce. Thank you again, and now back to the adventure. Yes, the adventure where we are finally at the station that we've been spending the last few days getting to with our rather interesting rover here. Let's get into our character and look at that. So yeah, we have our rover here with all its thrusters. Have I mentioned I don't like driving? But yeah, we've made the long journey, which was, where were we? We were way far away. I don't even have the original. Where's my GPS for that? Respawn pods behind me. It was no idea. I actually got, looks like, oh, the MG, that was near one of them. Oh yeah, look at that. I mean, that was already having driven from a little distance. So yeah, we've traveled well over 70 kilometers over the last few days over terrain. The last day's drive was pretty good. We were kind of in these nice grasslands. We kind of got out of the northern mountain range. So yeah, it has been a pretty good drive, but we are ready to settle down. We are kind of found some locations. There's an ice lake 23 kilometers back, which frankly is kind of perfect for what I'm looking for. The only thing going against it is that it's 23 kilometers away from here. So depending on what I find in there, so I have not gone in yet, I may want to scout around a little bit more locally to see if I can find a lake that might be a little closer by. It's not a deal breaker being 23 kilometers from here. It just means that, you know, I have to fly here more. You know, I have to do more trips. I have to fly here, which is not really a horrible thing. Oh no, I have to build a flyer so that I can deliver cargo to this station. I'm hoping I can deliver cargo to this station. Certainly food cargo, that is kind of what my original motivating kind of idea for the series was to sell to the stations. I don't know if the economy is doing or utilizing food. But at the very least, there are things like components and whatnot I can get. I know I can buy foodstuffs from the station. So things like maybe seeds or mammal meat and the like. Mostly because I really don't want to shoot my own doggy. I don't want to be the one to have to shoot doggos in the face. I really wish Keen would give us something different for the mammal meat. I mean, the sabroids are supposedly insect meat, but you know, the sabroids don't look like any insect on this planet. This is, you know, an Earth-like planet. It is not Earth. So why do we have wolves? And I really would rather we had something along more of the lines of a mammal sabroid. All right, finally found the door here. Let's get inside and let's get to the store and see what we have in the store as well as what we have in our contracts here. So contracts can be really quite financially beneficial depending on what's in there. So let's have a look at just the acquisition contract. So for example, they're looking for 661 computers for 35,000. I'm going to get a reputation reward. Who is this from? I think it's from these guys here. What else do we have? I can do that right now, get a little bit of money for that right now. Increasing my reputation. In fact, I'm going to accept this one here. I don't know if I have 34 power cells, but that's a good amount. Girders probably don't have that. Definitely don't have that. Now here's a good one here. So if I can, it won't be around by the time I get back to the station and manage to acquire that amount. But if I bring in 179 gold ingots, which once I've settled down and found myself a little bit of a gold mine, literal, that's 4 million in credits. This one here, if I can dig up 53 thruster components, that's 2,300. A little bit challenging considering I'm pretty sure I need platinum for that. But at some point I will try to go to space. So I do have this one contract accepted here. That's just in our acquisition. The other thing we can do are things like search contracts. So these are basically, I just have to go to a little area and find some lost cargo. Pretty easy money, to be honest, because they're never going to be super far away, like, basically within a few kilometers. So yeah, search contracts are really good, especially when you're in early game. Nothing in the repair. These guys are looking for, that's never going to be worth it. Escort duties, those are really hard to deal with. But yeah, I'm going to get those nickel. Don't forget to do the nickel. Now we can run into here. I think it's this way that I should be able to find the rest of the station. Or does this just go up to quarters? Nope, this just goes up to the quarters section. I want to go... Ow! I won't... Oh, there's the store. All right, so in the store here, there we go. We got meal packs, so we got flatbread. I've got a little bit of money on us. We can buy med kits. We can make these now. Can confirm. Med kits and power kits, we can now make our own in our regular assembler, which is kind of nice to just be able to not have to think about it. Keep some in your inventory when you're doing an assault, especially with the buff and the new death system that you don't come back very healthy. In fact, you come back the opposite of healthy. So this place sells craft, which is nice. Now, most of the ships that I've gotten, occasionally will buy a ship from here. They're older vessels. I mean, they function all right, but I can usually make something better. Mostly what I'm looking at is what can I sell to these guys so I can make some cash. I don't have anything really on me right now, so I can sell some of this stuff back to them, and a lot of it's, wow, that's a good price for steel plate. That is a good price. All right, I'm gonna go make some money. So let's run back to the truck and grab the stuff. What do I need for the contract? I already forgotten. It's something stupid. Nickel ingots. I'm gonna go grab myself some nickel ingots. I can check. Should be able to just check this also in my menu here. So if we look at comms, no. Factions, no. Yeah, I actually don't know where I'd have to check that, but nickel ingots, nickel ingots, nickel ingots. Where is my rover? There it is. So I'm going to grab a bunch of nickel ingots, and I'm going to grab, see, there we go. I got tons of those. And I'm going to grab, ooh, steel plate. Okay, so I got 53 there, 52, 557. So I'm going to grab as much steel plate as I can cram in there. Let's throw this cash into the connector. And the clang cola. Anything else that I need to worry about? No. I can put that in my cockpit, but... Alright. Let's get back into the station here. It's just polite. Close the door. Alright, so first thing, contract. They wanted 19, I have 30. So all I need to do is, I'm going to make a cool 7,000. It ain't much, but it is a start. So I go finish. From my character inventory, I don't have anything connected. I'm going to confirm that. Mostly what I'm looking at is my reputation increases. The more I can increase my reputation, the friendlier things are for me. Right now, these guys are neutral to me, which is why I can do business with them. And I'm going to try and keep these guys as much as possible on my side. So no messing with the IGMK. All right, let's go see what we can sell for steel plates. So I managed to pick up 248 in me. So I'm going to try and sell all of the 248 I currently have in my pocket. That's going to give me 280,000. Boom, the account starts to swell. Now they're still looking for another 314. So I can run back and grab another 314. I'm not going to because I'm going to need those steel plates. All right, so we made some money, made some reputation. Now we need to make a home. That's interesting. Problem is, of course, it is nighttime. So I'm going to eat some chips. And gonna sit in my cockpit and I'm gonna wait for daylight. All right, just eating another bag of chips here, keeping my health up. The sun is coming out now, and that means I might be able to see something. So I'm gonna start off by just doing the jetpack elevator ride and try to spot something. It's only 4 in the morning, but I don't want to be sitting here all day. And look what we see right behind us. Perfect. Now, the terrain is not great between me and that. Keeping an eye on my hydrogen here. And it's not a very big lake. But I think I'm going to go... Yeah, I'm not there was nothing over that way. I don't see anything that way, and there's a giant gorge in the way. I think what I should do is go have a look over at that one here. Actually, I'm going to turn off my dampeners, turn on my jetpack, just so I can have some steerage here and have some fun with the base jumping, because safety zones have magic powers. I can go all the way in and go boop and bounce off the ground. All right. What direction was that? That was... I'm so excited about falling down. Let's see what the direction was. Okay, so I'm going to go up through there. I'm pretty sure it was over there. It's on the other side. I think it was kind of... Oh, I don't know where it was. Where are you, Mr. Lake? There it is. Okay, so what I'm gonna do... That's some gnarly terrain. I think maybe if I cut straight southeast, I should be okay. Now, if I don't fall in the safety zone, I am going to die. So I'm gonna just, again, turn off the dampeners and use my jetpack to steer me towards the safety zone. I mean, it's not like I can't just turn the dampeners on at the last second and gently float to the ground. Okay, so southeast. So I'm going to try and go that way, which is pretty much the direction I've been traveling. And see what we get. Now, the rover is still really full, so my flying time is going to be limited. The battery is at 72%. So, you know, we're still carrying a decent charge. I'm going to try and keep on the nice terrain. Yeah, that way. And let's see how we do with our drive here. So if you're wondering, hey, did he set a GPS back there? I didn't. But I already have one. Remember, that's what led me here, so I don't have to worry about putting up another GPS. I know no one was actually asking that, except my own little brain. I suddenly realized, I just drove away from not making a GPS. I have a GPS. Okay, I am actually having some fun driving this thing right now. I think it's because I'm just getting a lot of good airtime. I am going really dangerously fast. But the terrain seems to be a little bit cooperative. Okay, is that finally the lake that I'm coming across? I hope so. All right, let's maybe slow down a little bit here. Yes, I think that's the lake. there, I'm pretty sure that's the lake there. What did I just drive past? No, that's just one of those. That's what I thought. Okay, now I don't know if it's a big lake. Big lake just means more resource nodes under the ice. Now, the ice resource nodes aren't great nodes usually. I tend to find them, they tend to be very thin, like not thick. Yeah, it's a fruit. I'm gonna pick that. No. I'm also gonna do some experimentation. Once I figure out where I'm gonna settle down and build the farm. There's a question of whether or not when you pick a plant, does it respawn in the same location? Now, if you're farming, it's not really. I mean, you have one plant, and I talked about this last episode, but every seed you plant gives you 2 of that plant. So if I plant 1 fruit, I get 2 fruits out of that. I can then take those 2 fruits using the food processor, turn them into 2 seeds. I plant those 2 seeds. I now have 4 plants. I turn those 4 plants into 4 seeds. I get 8 plants. So you could really quickly build up your stores. However, if you want to do it a little quicker, ooh, that's not a good shoreline. Do it a little quicker. You can, you know, keep foraging. And I'm gonna, once I find a way down to this stupid lakeshore that doesn't involve me, I'm gonna have to turn on the thrusters. It's actually a good sized lake. Where was I? Oh yeah, that if you set a GPS, that potentially they grow back into that location. I don't think I'm gonna need that usage. I mean, I got a pretty good, especially fruit, supply of plant material. What I don't have is a lot of meats. All right, there's another station nearby. Like I said, not great. That's a cliff. All right, time to kick in the thrusters. And I'm not gonna use, okay, brakes. Yeah, thank you. Doesn't matter as long as we're on your wheels. I'm gonna try to minimize my forward thrust here. Actually, let's just set her down on the ice. Bonk, and hit the brakes. Okay, let's pop out here, have a look around. Yeah, not great shorelines here. Nice for bases. I mean, you know, cliffside bases. I love me a cliffside base. But really, getting out of here on any kind of wheels, I think might be problematic. I think that's about the only way I can get out of here. Short of doing something sneaky like using voxel hands and making myself my own little road. I'm never gonna dig a road just because our drills and stuff aren't controllable enough. At least I never find them so, and I just don't have the patience to try that out. This looks actually like a nice drive out. So the reason I'm kind of thinking and looking and paying attention to drive out, because I have to think about where I want to set up my base. Yeah, see here it looks okay from a distance, but that's some pretty nasty craggies there. Because I don't want to limit myself and force myself into basically a corner, right? So right here I should be able to drive out there. Let's see if I can. Once the sun kind of gets up a little further, I'm gonna go take a drive around the lake, check out the shore, the shoreline. I might even consider doing it at speedier by turning this thing into its a hover mode. Autobots transform. because if I need to, if I'm running out of power now, it's not really super much as critical as it used to be, because I'm sitting on a giant fuel source. Okay, so didn't really see much craggies here, except for all the craggies that are here. Ooh, that's not as pleasant as it first looked, is it? Let's have another look here. Yeah, that's all looking pretty gnarly here as well. I mean, the other side is that I can leave a garage once I get it up here, or even building a second. I can actually have it. Ooh. I like that idea. Okay, so what I'm thinking now. Sorry, just sun's rising here, and I'm starting to kind of figure out my homesteading. So, base building mode. Ooh. What's over here? This even looks even maybe nicer. No, that's still all pretty craggy. What else, before I squirreled myself there, what I was thinking is, you know, maybe building the kind of a floor up here for the base, because I'm going to keep the base in the air. I'm going to build it on the top of a cliff face, just because I like building on tops of cliff faces or into the cliff face. I could have a garage, because look at the view. I want to have my residential area looking out over that. It will... But I could have like a garage up at this level for my rovers, and then, you know, put the aerial port maybe down here. It's not going to be a small place. I am thinking pretty large, right? I'm thinking anywhere from 80 to, depending on how the math works out, even 120 farm plots. So in kind of a cross pattern is what I was originally planning. Basically a cross of greenhouses, so they'll be all, you know, fully encased in glass and whatnot. I'm gonna have it on pillars, and then I'm gonna have either the residential area above it or below it, whatever means that I have to build an elevator, because building elevators now in Space Engineers since the one previous to Apex, field work, I think it was, no, even before then. When did they do that? It's been so long. Was it when they introduced the Factorum? But they gave us programmable that we can actually set distances now on things like pistons, rotors, hinges. So making it elevators is really nice now, is that you can just, even if it's 20 pistons, you can set the distance on the pistons. It, you know, needs a little math and whatnot, but yeah, making elevators is so much nicer now. All right. Still kind of like this little area here. So if I have like my initial platform here, let me go grab some steel plates. Ironically, I don't have any on me because I sold them all. There we go. No, I want big, not little. Big, please. There we go. That green you keep seeing me lighting up is when I look at a small grid, grabby hands. Or, what is it? Improved engineering or experiment? Yeah, grabby hands. Let's just call it grabby hands. All right. So, I mean, this is the all-important first block here. So, I'm thinking if I do platforming kind of along here, and that extends to the back into there. I do want to keep a certain amount of defensiveness. I am gonna be, as soon as I get the base established, like not established, but in pretty much next episode, let's put it that way. I'm gonna turn on the modular encounter, maybe? I don't know. We'll see. But I want to make sure there is defensive. I did again mention in the last episode in the modular is the UTC faction. Mostly because it's becoming a grudge match between me and them in my kind of personal playthrough that I started playing with once Apex came out. The only one I was running out of the MES was UTC, just because it said they're nice, easy, early game NPC, they lied. These guys are brutal. I thought I gun spammed my combat shits, but holy, yeah. But it's good fun, right? I mean, you know, it gives you lots of entertainment, and you know, having to repair your ships, you got to be, again, engineer solutions. My ship keeps getting completely wrecked. What do I need to either improve its weaponry? What do I need to do to improve its armor? Oh no, the weight is getting completely out of control. Yes, I just recently added 1,000,000 kilograms by having to add heavy armor. Okay, how do I deal with that? So again, it's just lots of good problem solving when it comes into like dealing with the NPCs, and that's why I like having the NPCs in, not just for the so you don't feel quite so alone, but what the NPCs do is and how they react is where you kind of get the engineering challenges from, at least for me. So yeah, I think that's where I'm going to establish my base. Let's, oh, I hate the jump mechanic. Fine. So I'm going to set GPS, and we're just going to call this well, I'll just call it base for now, because it's literally just a base of foundation of blocks. Get it? Yeah. All right, let's go do a little bit. No. Actually, before I do any exploring, I'm gonna put up a cargo container of the large grid variety. So let's make sure we have a small cargo container. And there we go. We'll draw all of as much of the components as I can. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just pop this container right there, and then I'm going to put a connector on the end of it, because I want to unload the truck there. This is very temporary. All of that'll get moved as soon as I start putting in some of the main kind of infrastructure. Sounds like it's raining. Yes, it is. And that is everything. Excellent. So, cargo container, connector. Neither one of them's powered, but the connector does not need to be powered to be locked into, and once I'm locked into, there will be power into the cargo, so the conveyor system will work. I'm kind of now just noticing that goes down a little bit of a dip, so that might be a little tiny problematic, but that's okay. I want this guy here so we can just yeah, as long as I can get my bum to line up. Oops. Always takes my brain a few tries to kind of remember that everything's backward from your backup camera view. Now, hopefully, I didn't pick a too high a spot. Oh, of course I did. 100%, of course I did. Yeah, everything is going against me. Okay, well, now I've got an idea of the height I'm going to actually need. Let's move it. Yeah, I was just testing, right? Proving that, yeah, that was a bad spot. You saw nothing.
Inventory full.
Oh. Brown components, yay! Oh, I actually managed to get all that. Okay. Let's see if this works any better. So we're gonna go 4. We're gonna turn off our parking brake. We're gonna go 5 because that's the right camera. We're gonna turn. And then we're gonna back up. Again, everything is backward. Left is right, right is left. And now I'm probably gonna be too high, but that's a lot easier for me to lower the wheels. It's even on my hotbar. Hey, where's my connector? There it is. I don't care if it's straight. I just want it to turn yellow. Like that. Powered brake on. And locked in. Okay, let's get everything off the truck here. So not into the connector. Small cargo container, so we're going to empty out the cockpit. Leave the ice. We're going to get the iron out of here. All of our food, our space bucks. We're going to get everything out of this container. In fact, I'm going to throw the cockpit ice in there. That's my small cargo survival kit. And I'll just throw the gravel in there for now. Let's just make sure we're looking at the truck, and we are empty. Yay! Oof. Someone went on a big old diet, and you saw how much that came up. All right, so I'm just gonna cycle out the. Come on, pull away. There we go. Before the magnet catches in again, turn that on. Get out of the camera view. And now I am in really crappy weather. I'm also hungry. We'll chow down on another bag of chips there. Okay, I don't have to worry about starving to death and running. Okay, wow. Okay, I want to see now with the removal of all that weight, how much do I get flying? Oh, still not great. But I don't need a lot to drive. Okay, so what I want to do here is I'm going to kind of skim. I'm going to drive. I really don't like driving, but especially on ice. I can't see bugger all. Oh, weather, why do you hate me so? Actually, this lake's a lot bigger than I thought. Yeah, it is. Oh, you know what? Do I move everything now? Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Back up, back. Beep, beep, beep. All right. Yeah, there we go. So I have cobalt and gold. Let's get our GPS. So GPS, and I'm gonna go CO, yeah, E for some coffee. That is not right. What am I talking about, Effie? Hold it, Maholis. It's almost like he doesn't. Where'd it go? There it is. No, that is not CO. In any way, shape, or form, it is AuCO. Gold and cobalt, not cobalt and iron. Okay, so we got some gold. That's awesome. Finding gold is always really important. I've got an unknown signal touching down there. This actually looks like a nice little kind of end. It's floating. I'll take a trip over to it in a minute because it looks like we can get out. We're coming in. Oh, there's iron. So I've got iron right here. So we're going to set that GPS. Now I'm just using the small ore detector. With only 50 meters of range. Wonder what I'd find if I started dragging around a large. Wow, that actually goes quite a distance. How far away is that signal? It's not that far. Now the thing is, that actually looks like a nice drivable exit. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to move all that stuff. Which is fine. I haven't really added anything to it. This is the whole point of the scouting, and this is a nice, easy drive up. Okay, things are looking better here. Things are looking good. I'm not going to make any final decisions. I knew I should have put a question mark on that other. Yeah, this is actually really nice. Ooh, yes, I could build. That is a really nice. Okay, you know. Everything's changing. You can't make up my mind. That's a nice big flat area. That's quite nice for a farm. Those are not nice. Those are craggies. I'm just wondering, do I... Well, I'm going to grab the signal. We'll turn around. Ow, ow. Ow, 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 ow. Get me some thrust. Get me in the air. And let's get back onto the ground right here. Handbrake on, and let's go see what is in here. Okay, first of all, yes. What? No. Smells strange. Oh, looks odd, smells strange. Maybe it's still good. Are you hungry enough to take the risk? Looks. Oh. Ah. Ah. I mean, it could poison me. Let's not... Yeah. Okay, do I want this drill? No, I've already got really good tools, so I'm going to leave that behind. Let's find the button. Hello, Mr. Button. Well, we'll use the grabby hands. And I really wish I could remember the name of the mod. Nope, no button. Where the hell is the button? Hello, Mr. Button. All right, let's there it is. And we'll just drop that back down. I guess I should actually just look for the signal. That always tells you where the button is. Yeah, got nothing. Nope, no grindy. Not doing any grindy. Yeah, that's a really nice plane. So the question is do I build on the water's edge? Or do I build on this really nice flat area here? So I'd still want to put it on stilts, elevate it up a little bit. But there might be kind of some fun engineering running a pipe down to the water and then onto the ice. And yeah, because I could use subgrid pistons and stuff like, yeah, you know what? Especially with the sun coming out now. I could make a really nice kind of sprawling, not having to fight with the terrain. And it's pretty straightforward access down to the water. These are plants I can eat. There's some grain. Right, I was going to mark this GPS here because I think, yeah, I'm going to go into the plain here. As much as I like me a cliffside base, fighting with the terrain is, you know, something that it happily avoided. I saw another bush around here. There it is. Also see a dirt patch right there. So again, I'm going to do the experiment here. I'm going to go GPS, and we're going to go fruits. So what I want to do is in a while come back and check on those locations. Where did that marker go? There it is. I swear this is probably the first time I've actually ever spotted one of these patches on the green grass. Oh, notoriously difficult for me in the past to actually spot them. Silver. Nice. What else is here? Let me go grab the rover here. Yeah, the little 35 meter ore detector on this thing sucks. So I'm gonna grab the rover here. We're gonna hit the jets because I don't feel like fighting. We're gonna just drive this away. Yeah, this is looking better and better because I can see another ore patch just ahead there. All right, I don't actually have brakes, so let's bring things to a stop here. Yeah, there's lots of stuff around here. I'm liking where I am. There's gold again. All right, so we've got gold. Gold! Gold and silver. Silver and gold. Silver and gold. Two metals that make good stuff. So we got the AG and we got the AU. The nice thing about these is that they tend to be nicer than the ones you find in ice. Now, that also brings up another point, is So one of the other mods that I like to use quite often is the resource node mod. And what that does, it just gives you a kind of a special advanced drill that doesn't affect the voxel. You put it on top of an ore patch and it will just happily sip on whatever ore is below it. I mean, you have to be a bit careful picking where you place it, because, you know, you don't want to just dig up stone. You want to make sure you're actually getting the ore. And they go incredibly slow, so it is very much just a drip, drip, drip. That's another veg. No, that's a fruit. But the nice thing is that they don't break up the voxel. I could, but you know what? I like digging holes, man. I like setting up drills. That's the fun of the game, right? The engineering. Do not eat the mystery meat. Okay, let's get into third person view. Let's have a look around. There's another patch right over there. So I'm thinking a decision has been made. I am going to have to go back and get to my stuff. But I think I'm gonna settle down right here. There's iron nearby. There's lots of food. Yeah, look, big ass iron patch right here. Is there anything else underneath there? Iron and gold. Is it just iron? I could use some silicon and nickel. Yeah, that's iron and gold. That's a fun combination. It's deep gold, which means I'm definitely going to be digging into the side of the hill. Okay, but we're going to mark this sucker. So GPS, AUFE. AUFE! Sounds like an Italian swearing at me. Oh my god, the further I look, the nicer this place is. Where is that trade station in relation to me now? It is 8K that away. Which is actually a pretty decent drive. It's also a decent flight. I'm not gonna go to get that bush. I see it. I see that. I see you. No, turn the handbrake off. And I have absolutely no qualms about having my resources. A couple of, you know, I'm good. I'm good with, as in not I'm good at it, but, you know, I'm perfectly happy to. I do not object to having my resource nodes being like 2 kilometers away from my base and stuff, you know, even 3 kilometers, because, you know, you just have to have yourself a nice little quick transport vehicle, and that's actually one of the things I like using rovers. Rovers are fun to oh, there you are, you sweet bang bang stuff. Rovers are actually, I really actually like using rovers and silicon for transporting material, because you can transport a lot more at a time for very little cost. A single large grid battery, a couple of, or even 4, 5, 6, I mean, go nuts at the modular cargo containers. You could even use a large one. It looks like you're basically driving a tick around, but those modular containers make you can make some interesting kind of panel van designs and rovers with them, and they're good to drive because they have the excess weight. This was magnesium and silicon. So I don't mind having my resource nodes kind of scattered around a bit, as long as I have them. So far I found iron, I found silicon, I found multiple gold, magnesium. I haven't found a cobalt over here yet. I mean, it's not like I need tons and tons of cobalt. Just really honestly going and mining a couple of modular, medium modular, or modular containers. And there's lots of food around here. Okay, I'm gonna stop driving around and go get my stuff. I just want to see what's in here. So iron, nickel, and cobalt. The Caffini. So, the reason I'm kind of doing there is a reason besides just, blindly wandering around. My God, look at all the food. Because this is also going to help me, usually would help me determine where I'm starting. I have the ice back there. I probably have gotten a bit far from it, but it's nice to know that I have a Caffini not too far away. It's not like I'm gonna need a lot of nickel. What am I doing? Get in the damn truck. Hit that button. How far away am I from? Okay, so yeah, I'm about 4 kilometers, 5 kilometers from the base. So I think this is kind of the outer reach that I'm going to go. So I'm going to turn around from here and then head back in. All right, I'm just about back at the base. The old location, and just to kind of have an idea of how crappy this approach is, I'm gonna do some base jumping. I like having thrusters and wheels, especially at the beginning of the early game. It's just so much fun. Whee! And thrusters off, smooth touchdown, apply the brakes, and turn around and taxi into the location. All right, so I'm gonna go hook up, get my stuff out of there, and put down the all-important first bit of infrastructure for our base. All right, everything is now empty, so I can grind. Come back here. What? Remember, folks, always set your handbrake. Oops. I dropped stuff. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay, so I'm just gonna get all my stuff back here. I knew as I was laying these foundations I was gonna regret it, but hey, here we are. Easy, quick touch of the grinder. Again, got nice and lucky on that first real kind of way station. Actual outpost that we hit with the assembler, and the fact that they had platinum there made it really easy to get or nice that I could get these more advanced tools. That's why it's worth it to potentially piss off factions by going after their stuff.
Inventory full.
Whoops. Oh, those all fell through the voxel. The only problem with this grinder, of course, is that it's very aggressive. Like, I'm pretty sure either I turned that all into scrap or it just fell in underneath the voxel. Okay, we're full up here. Let's eat another bag of chips. While I can still sprint, and let's go to our new location, and we can use the cobalt gold marker. I also do want to kind of have another little poke around over there. That's actually kind of nice getting up and down from too. Mind you, I mean, that's even nicer right there. Yeah, I mean, easy does it, easy does it, easy does it, easy does it. Yeah, that's the direction I wanted to look. So that is where I went up before. There's some interesting stuff over this way. I just want to have a quick drive around, and then what I'll do is I'll just hook around. Oh, this is just a cute little bay, isn't it? Industrial ice miner, which certainly makes short work of it. It's a bit far away from this kind of upper area here. And this is always the kind of most crucial decision I make, and one I usually end up regretting a little bit later, is where to put down those initial blocks. Because, you know, you're establishing your grid, right? So you kind of want to make sure. That is the wrong button, dude. Especially on a hill. You want to make sure. Yeah, there's a lot riding on it, right? Because everything you do from here on is going to be affected by that. I hopped out here just because I want to put a GPS. I'm thinking right here. And we're just going to call this just temp 1. And it's creeping me out holding a grinder like that, so I'm just going to go up here. Kind of to this flat spot right about here. So that's 500 meters away. That is... That's a lot of distance. Remember, I'm wanting to put a automated system dipping down into there. There's veggie right here. Or nope, that's more fruit.
Fuel low.
Oh. Get down on the ground and get to the rover and...
Fuel critical.
Touchdown. Of course, I can't get up to the... Oh, no, I can just hop in my cockpit, refill, and then I can hop up on top of the O2 generator and refill my bottle. Well, I've got a lot of decisions ahead of me here. One really important one, which is where do I want to establish the base? But we are definitely at our new home. We got ice, we've got iron, we've got all kinds of resources within relatively good short distances. It's pretty. I've got a view. easy terrain to get around, large, big, flat plain. I'm not far from that trade station. I've lost it again. There it is. It's 8 kilometers away, but it's a pretty straightforward drive or even easier flight. So yeah, this is now home. In fact, I'm going to go to my GPS. I'm going to delete this one here. I'm not going to put one down here yet because I still haven't decided. I'm really leaning, of course, going across this little crevice, but we'll see what we get. But that's going to be next episode. For now, that is going to be it for today. Once again, everyone, thank you for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. If you like the video, maybe, hit the old like button. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and maybe consider hitting the old subscription button. And if you want to become a channel member, you can hit the join button or use the link in the description. But that is going to be it for me today. Thank you. I want you guys, and this is important, and I want you to listen. And I think this is, something that is from the bottom of my heart. I want you guys to be safe out there. I want you guys to be good. And I want you, most importantly, to have a great day. Until next episode, bye-bye.